Welcome to Feed Your Lion. I'm Dr. Jodelle, and I'm here to aid you in the mastery of total health, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial. So prepare to have your wellness tank filled up with this podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Feed Your Lion. Today's special guest is L.I.O.N. Osuch. He runs the whole tri-state race planner. So I love his races, and I'm not a runner at all, and I love going. So we're going to get into how that all got started and his background into running. So Alan, thanks for being here with us.
My pleasure, Jodelle.
All right. Well, let's start off. Talk a little bit about who you are, your background, what you did before your retirement years, all of that fun stuff.
Okay. I'm a Connecticut native. I came out of Stamford, Connecticut.
Okay.
I've done a lot of different things up there, including medical, variety stores, a whole variety of things, rental properties and everything. I moved to Kentucky about 2002.
Okay.
Now, I was never a runner, ever. But in 2007 and 8, due to a lot of heart stints, I had to rehab myself. I wasn't happy with the cardiac rehab program was just too mild. So I started rehabbing myself, walking. And the next thing I do was I was going to do a race, and that turned out to be the first race, not knowing what a 5 or 10K was, the Summer Motion 10K. And that's 6.1 miles, not the usual 5K 3.1. Anyway, I finished it. And that was in 2008, and I was last, and I had the police behind me and the city picking up the cones and everything else right down Winchester Avenue and the bridge and everything else. Anyway, from there, like I said, I started running regularly, and the next thing you know, a couple years later, I was the old guy that ran. There were not a lot of us in the 60s at that time. I was 60 at that point.
Okay.
But there were not a lot of us. I was the old guy that ran, and somebody asked us to put a race on. It turned out to be downtown Ashland. Danny Craig with Ashland in Motion. It was on Main Street then. We put on, that was our first 5K, and we just took it to another level.
Well, so when you say, first of all, how did you end up even in Ashland from Connecticut? Because I love Connecticut. I've visited a couple times. It's beautiful. Why did you even end up, how'd you even end up down in the tri-state anyways?
Well, it was time for a bit of a change after divorce.
Okay.
Yep, and I did visit down here and met someone.
Okay.
That's how I actually started seeing Ashland, and then, that didn't last that long.
Yeah.
But it was enough to make me love the area.
Okay.
And I've just said it's fantastic. If you've never been to the tri-state, up in New York, and outside of Stamford is only 40 minutes out of New York City. It's like a mini bedroom to New York now. I mean, you wouldn't even know the town that I grew up in. But Ashland is like Stamford was in the 50s and 60s, actually.
Okay.
In my growing up years there.
Okay.
So I just loved it, and I just moved down here.
Okay. So how did you go, why did they even ask you to set up your first race in the first place? How did that transition from I was last in the first race I ran to I'm going to put on my own?
Well, the first race we put on was 2000, I think it was 2012, I can't remember, 2011. And anyway, the only reason I was asked is because mostly nobody in Main Street was a runner.
Okay.
And I was the only one with any kind of idea about a run, and so that's exactly why he asked. And that was Danny Craig who asked at the time, and Brandy Clark's there now.
Yeah.
But anyway, it just went from there. It just blossomed, and we decided do what I would want in a race, not just cheap out, not just have a crappy race. I wanted it to be runner friendly, and at the same time be good for the organizations. Awareness, represent them properly.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing, and just kept building on that.
So you knew right off the bat you wanted it to be like a charity-based thing.
Oh, it was always that, yes. And actually, the main push behind it is Pam. You've met Pam.
Yes.
When I started dating Pam at that point, right at that point.
Pam's awesome. She's like his sidekick for this whole race thing. I love it.
It was her idea, actually. I'm going to give her full credit for that.
Okay.
She started attending some of the races I was running in. This is previous to the first race. And she said, "These are terribly organized. We can do better."
Really? So it's all her.
That's exactly where it started. And then from there it built, and I'd say one by one, we gave the runners what they wanted, what they needed. We believe in 5-year age groups, not 10, 3 positions, door prizes, food. We wanted to make it an event, a family affair, and therefore it represented the charities well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of need out there right now. Food banks included.
So like talk about talk about the setup there for a minute. So you like every race you do, a charity is benefiting from that race.
Correct.
So how do you find the charities? Do they find you? How does that work?
Okay. We really have never had to look for them
Okay.
because some people that have charities have originally put on their own events, and they knew what was involved in
How hard it was. Yeah.
And after a while, nowadays especially, we don't even ask. The phones ring every week. We can't take them all on. We take on over 40 something a year, and just to treat them right, we want to just be specific. There's a lot of them with small organizations.
Yeah.
And these days especially, you have to be careful on dollars. So we don't look for business. We do look to help sponsors.
Yeah.
Part of one of the reasons I joined BNI is to get the word out that way too. And it's been very much helpful in getting sponsors on board for some of these charities.
So when he says BNI, it's Business Networking International. Alan and I are in that together, and so for you guys who don't know what that is, basically each business is represented there. There can only be one type of business, and it's a referral networking business, and it's great. We all love it.
Mine is event planning. I mean, I don't do weddings and things like that, but that's just the category I'm in. And like I say, it's worked well. I've gotten the word out about the charities. I've gotten the word out about sponsors. We've got runners like Jodelle that come out and run.
I've been like I said, I'm not even. Did you love I'm backtracking a little, but did you love running off the bat, or was that something you had to like?
Oh, I thought I just had to do it. I didn't.
Okay.
I never thought I'd like it. Before I ran, I used to be one of these people at an intersection. If a road was blocked anywhere because of runners, I'd just start honking my horn. What are these nuts doing out here at hot weather, cold weather, rainy weather running?
Yeah.
Now I say, look what I've missed all those years.
What happened? What was that change that you had?
I just loved it. I mean, I just loved the feeling.
Yeah. So it just,
fantastic.
as you got into it more, it just was
Just because I had to. I had to get the exercise, stretch out the lungs.
Yeah.
Get all those collateral arteries opening up.
You said you didn't think the cardiac rehab, you don't think they worked you hard enough? Is that what
They're so cautious.
Okay.
And I'm more of a push a little bit harder.
I got you.
I can't sit there all day. I mean, not that you can't do it. I mean, the hand things. And
yeah.
I think you have to eventually graduate people. And after a couple months, I hadn't graduated anywhere.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They did a good job. They were thorough, but I think you can go a little farther.
So, when you first set up this business, how many races did you start with? The first year you really opened up?
First year we started in August. We're in our 13th year right now. But we started in August that first year. Before the year was out, we had done about 10.
Okay.
Then after that, we moved to about 30.
Okay.
And after that, we've been around the 40 mark, 35 to 45
Wow, that's
every year. 48 last
quick.
year.
Yeah, that's a quick rise there.
It was very quick.
So, and I want to show, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, every race too, he talked about loving the racers. You get these t-shirts, and it's for whatever. This was the hog trot, and all the sponsors are put on the back of the shirt. So every runner who signs up, they get a t-shirt, and everyone's different. And he makes they get the nicest shirts you can see. I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, but different colors, all the sponsors, they're fun to wear. But every runner gets one of those. They have food for every runner. After the race, they do awards and prizes. And like he said, so do most races that you've seen do the 10-year age group? Is that
A lot of them do.
Okay.
The few that are left do. We have about 95% of the races in the tri-state right now.
Okay, so if you go to another race somewhere, in a different, area, usually what?
Many times they're 10, there might be one or two positions, there's no food, no door prizes.
Nothing like that.
Cheap shirts, 50-50. These are really comfortable, soft shirts.
I'm wearing
Bella
one
canvas.
too.
Yeah, it's a Bella canvas. And like I said, we guarantee a shirt in your right size. Mm-hmm. We run out of shirts or run out of the type, that size, we will mail it to the person.
Yeah.
We definitely are runner friendly.
No, I mean, it's that, honestly, I'm like I said, I do the running for the cardio part.
Yep.
I'm much more of a lifter than I am a runner. And I love going to your events. Like
Great.
just
We love to have you.
I mean just like the atmosphere and the attitude, you know you're contributing to something good and there's just like such a positive and I feel like
Yeah.
that's lacking so much in so many
Oh.
things. Like so I really like appreciate like what you do.
Well, a lot of races, if you go to other races out of this area, and there are a few that exist, most times you're going to get to the end of the race and you're going to say, let's get these, you're going to see people saying, let's get these awards and get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
Ours are just hanging out, eating, talking. We don't start the awards till the last runner or
Yeah.
walker crosses the line.
Yeah.
It's a family atmosphere, and actually they just hang on longer, and even
Yeah.
a bunch of them help, clean up too.
Yeah, yeah. What about like challenges you had when you were setting up, like as far as like rules, regulations with, because you're functioning in West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky with these.
Yeah.
Was like, did you have any problems like crossing state lines or like rules like with how does that?
No, there's no real rules. There are rules in each area, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and different approvals. Different cities have different requirements, permits, and so forth.
So you have to get a
It's-
permit each time that you do a race.
You need
like,
city approval all the
You
time.
need city approval each time.
Most of them are free, with the exception of Huntington and Ashland.
Okay.
Otherwise, most of them are free, and they're really great and cooperative. And there's really no roadblocks as far as approvals go.
Okay.
Not at
So
all.
you've never had anybody say like no to doing a race.
Well, only in Ashland and Huntington.
Okay.
They restrict courses very much so. Anyone else, is open to new ideas, new courses.
Okay.
So we do pull a lot of races into Russell,
Yeah.
Greenup. We've used Raceland, Catlettsburg quite a bit too.
Okay. Do you think it's Huntington Ashland just because they're a little bigger, or what do you think it is?
Well, the usual answer is, like I say, they just don't want to block streets. They do,
Yeah.
And they do charge a lot of money. It's almost $1,500 just to put a 5K on in downtown Ashland.
Really? And
Or-
that takes away from the charity,
Oh
too.
yeah, they
I
can.
mean,
Most of these charities can't afford that. That's why we have to move out
yeah.
to the outskirts.
So with the permit, you have to get a permit. How far in advance typically do they have to know that?
Well, I have to apply. Like I say, most of the cities. I've laid out the course for the year. I've laid them
Okay.
out.
Okay. So they
And-
know well in advance
Yeah,
then usually.
well in advance.
Okay. And then as far as like, I know you've had a couple things with like injuries, things like that. Like, people have to sign a waiver, I guess,
yes.
for running every time?
Yes, they do, and we have to be insured in every city that we're in, and also be insured for using a piece of property. Say we're using your building for the awards.
Yeah.
We'd have to carry a certificate of insurance on your building, too.
So does one insurance, like, do you have that all under one insurance and they just cover you for every area you're going to be in? Or?
There's an agency that covers events,
Okay.
and I have to apply for every single one.
Do you have to get like an extra like policy, like an umbrella policy or anything like that in case?
Not usually, no.
Not usually.
no.
Okay. Okay. I'm just curious because that's, you think about, there's so much that go into the events. I mean, how long do you guys take just setting up beforehand?
Well, they say most times, hey, let's say if it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and we try to make them 9 o'clock, give
Yeah.
people more time to travel. But we're still there about 4, 5, 6 o'clock, depending on the size of the race, how much the course has to be marked out. We mark it very carefully with arrows and so forth. We don't just spray something on the sidewalks or just tell people where to go. And so, a full day. But the minute we sign a paper with someone saying we're going to put your race on, we're with them day and night. We take the legwork off of the agencies.
Okay.
They only have one responsibility. They can get registrations and everything else, sure. They can do some marketing. But their main responsibility to make it successful is get sponsorship dollars.
Okay.
That is the key. And give me some volunteers for the course on race day. The materials, the equipment, everything else we do take care of. All the arrangements, shirt arrangements, trophies, insurances. We arrange it all,
Okay.
permits and all.
So as far as like, how does your sponsorship work? Talk about that for a minute. How do you have that set up?
All right. I designed the forms for each race. And we've got pretty much standard forms that we know they work. Anyway, on each race, there's a little different levels. Certain races will demand, will be able to command sponsors of 1,000, maybe even higher. So we'll start their level higher. Other smaller groups or lesser known causes, we'll start about 500. If that we start there, would be like 500, 250, 150, and then other. And if someone really has a problem with cash, and that's what the agency needs, we ask them to do a gift basket, a door prize, whatever, a gift
Yeah.
card. Because the more things people take home, the stronger the race gets. They
Yeah.
like to take things home. The more people that run, as those numbers increase, you've got more to show the sponsors next year around and bring on additional sponsors. That's what keeps the race strong.
And that's where the charity money goes, right? Because your racers, you're only paying like $30, right? Typically, and that's
Yeah,
covering your
we've been able to
shirt
keep it
and
at
your...
25 pre and $30 race day.
Okay, yeah,
Most are now going to 30 and 35.
yeah. And I mean, that's mostly going, you've got your shirt cost, your food cost, your
Exactly.
all that stuff, so.
To have a race right now, it's greatly increased since COVID and inflation. It takes approximately $3,500, give or take. These are the averages we worked out after since we do so many races. About $3,500 in sponsors, or about 135, 140 runners, or a mix of the two, as the break-even point.
Okay,
It used to be about 2,300 before COVID. 2,300 and about 80 runners. So you can see
Wow.
where it's gone.
yeah. Why is
Cost, inflation.
just inflation?
Yeah, and also numbers dropped during COVID. Numbers dropped in attendance, but they're coming back now. But still, those are high numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and what's like the most you typically will see at a race, like smaller versus your bigger races?
Most of the races we have are between 100 and 130. The bigger races are 300 to 400, and there's a few of those. And then the smaller races, we do have a few that run in the 70s, but they've got a strong sponsor base, which
Yeah.
helps carry them through.
Okay. Okay. Well, so as far as like growing the business, like how long did it really take you to get your footing and like, okay, I'm comfortable with this. I know what we're doing. Cause I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to figure out. Like when you're first starting and you've never run the races to like, now we have all these and we're running like a well-oiled machine.
Oh yeah, well, I'd say the bulk of it was out of the way in the first year. But then you have to fine tune things and improve things, and we keep looking for ways to do better.
Yeah.
By getting out there, seeing other races, maybe there's a point I can take out of it, something I can see, something I can do differently, and we've adjusted that way. We also try to keep it exciting, but you can't make a lot of changes really because there's really not many more for us to take on
Yeah.
time wise.
Yeah. You only got so many weeks in a year.
Yeah, and a lot of the weekends, especially midsummer on,
Yeah.
we're doing 2 a weekend.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Different sides of the river, I will say.
Oh.
West Virginia, then Ohio, Kentucky's the other side.
So, talk about you had a health scare a while back. Talk about that. Talk about your experience. You were running, right?
Yeah,
So
okay. Well, I started the running, like I say, back in 2008,
yeah,
and did that for rehabbing myself, and got hooked on it.
yeah,
And so since then, before I started putting on races, I was running every week myself, about 40, 50 races a year, including half marathons and doing a few marathons in New York. I've got addicted. Now, in March of 2001, 21. In 2021, I was doing the Myrtle Beach Half Marathon, and at the 8 mile mark, basically my heart, single to the heart, stopped. I went down. No warning. I had no idea. Luckily, there were a couple of girls really close. They were able to start CPR. It's a dangerous thing. You've got to be there real quick. And that was my scare. I mean, I did die. I have an implant defibrillator pacemaker right now. It hasn't stopped me from trying to come back. It's a slow comeback. It's been 2 years, but I have walked a lot. I've done a few 5Ks. I've actually done the Myrtle Beach Half Marathon again this past year.
So
You cannot stop.
the same race that you went down on and literally died for.
died.
You were dead, like,
They
and
ruled me out in the ER.
yeah, that's crazy. And then you came back
Mm-hmm.
and you went back and did the same race that you and you crossed the line.
Oh yeah, that was had to complete the circle. I had to get back there.
What was your feelings like on that going back to that race?
Oh well, like I say, it was just a satisfaction.
Yeah.
I won't say I was exuberant. But I mean, I knew I could do it.
Were you scared
But-
at all? Was
oh
there
no,
any
no,
none of
never
that?
was scared. No,
No.
no, because I've been running ever since. As soon as they gave me clearance to start moving, I've been walking, running.
Yeah.
Not as much as before. But the thing is, what good is running scared?
So you didn't.
I'm
so,
running to keep myself healthy.
so you didn't hesitate at all, even like coming back from that massive.
Everybody
like-
else was more worried than I was.
How long were you in the hospital?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I don't remember them though. I only remember about the last few days.
Really?
Yeah, that's lost time, and I lost the last mile and a half before I went down. Actually, too.
Really?
I was there talking to someone at the time alongside of me, but I don't remember that last mile. And so she was right there.
Wow.
I've been in touch with those 3 girls too.
Really?
Yeah, we've become very close friends.
Wow.
They all did the races with me last year too.
That's
It
amazing.
was good.
That's awesome. So as far as that goes, I mean, I think that says a lot that you came back and you didn't quit.
My advice to people is, I don't care what you have wrong with you. You're out there moving. You're walking anyway around the house, whatever. Just get out and move. Do something. Keep active. If I had started some of this before the first clogs of those arteries and everything else, I might not even be in the shape I'm in now. Start moving now. Take a walk around the block. Go to the park. Maybe do a 5K. Just push yourself, and whatever you have wrong with you. I've got a lot more wrong with me still than you have now. Get out there. I don't care if you're tired. I get out almost every day, tired or not, and at least walk. So,
Yeah.
stick
That's
to
what what do you like? I feel like there's a lot of people. It's with the gym, with doing 5Ks, with anything. I think there's a lot of people out there that have this like fear about like doing anything in front of people, and I don't know. I've never really got that because I guess I'm fine being embarrassed in front of people. I don't know, but I it's something. What would you say to that? Because I mean, I think there's a lot of people that have a genuine fear of like being out and doing like
so.
a
I don't
5K.
want to do it. I'm afraid. I don't want to be last. People are going to laugh at me. Anything but at these events, positive energy, the support. I don't care if you're the last person. They're going to wait on you. They're going to cheer you in.
Yeah.
It is anything but laughing at you. It's really there, and all of a sudden it's a pick-me-up. And one thing we also offer is the very first race you do, we give a first-time 5K medal to get you started too.
Yeah,
We want to inspire you with that.
You guys are awesome. Like I've never like honestly done any races with anybody else, but you're right. Like the atmosphere and like there's plenty of people that walk every race and nobody cares.
No,
like it's not like nobody's watching. I
No,
think
not
this
at all.
like this thing of like people are staring at you. Everybody's got their own things. They're not worried about you.
Here's a funny experience. I went back. There's very few races in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Anyway, they
Yeah.
they go to gyms and all. And
Yeah.
they do the streets, but they don't race that often.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to find one a year. Like when I'm up there, they're hard to come by. But anyway,
Really?
last year I ran a race in April up there, and their race was not exciting at all. They gave away chocolate bunnies. It was Easter. That's all they gave away for awards. I was the last person, and they had everything done before I even got in.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't wait for me. I mean, I was maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes behind the last person, but there's just no excitement. They just got those things. They all left, and there was nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing
Yeah.
at all.
Well, I think you're really like changing the way it's done and for the better because like I said, I love going just because I love being around everybody.
That's what we want. That's the atmosphere
Yeah.
we want, and it's good for the charities because we're creating awareness for all of these causes. They're like neutropenia. Who ever heard of neutropenia?
Right.
A lot more people know about it now. We had a great attendance. 100-something people came out.
Yeah.
They had a good, sponsor base came out because of it, and people learned about it.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
just one of many.
Well, what's the future look like to you in the Tri-State Racers? What do you envision for it?
Well, I have to clear one thing up that you're saying.
Okay.
Because it will confuse people, and we get confused all the time. When you say Tri-State Racers, people think of TriStateRacer.com, which is a timing agency and a listing agency.
Okay.
And we are not connected, but we do contract them for all of our races for timing. And we are Osuch Tri-State Race Planners. That is the difference there.
The official, yes.
But many people think that we are one and the same.
Gotcha.
It's not the first.
Thank you.
What's in there for the future?
Yeah.
We intend to keep solid. Obviously, with the calls still coming in, just this week alone, a couple more. I mean, it's so hard to find time to put people in because, like, there are two sides of the river: West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky. The only time we'll put two on the same side of the river, two on a weekend, is when they're on different sides of the river. 95% do not cross one direction or the other. And so even just doing that, that's why we're looking at in our planning. There are not many spaces left to put races on.
That's so strange to me. There's like a lot of people talk about that, how like even though Huntington and Ashland, I mean I go to both all the time,
Yeah,
but like
I do too.
but like it's weird. There is like this like weird line. I wonder if it's like that in other parts of the country too. But
We could put a race on in Ritter Park or Barbersville. We see 7 to 10 people from this side. Put a race over here, maybe 10 to 12 people from the other way. That's why they won't hurt each other. We don't want to put two on the same side because they will take away from the crowd and the monies that are needed. So that's why we split it up that way.
that's really interesting.
But we will continue to help as many agents as we can. Anybody who we can't physically be the planner for, without question, we offer them all the support and advice. There's one I'm going to be away next week, and there's a race going on in Ritter Park. Actually, the K-9 Corps. I'll give them a little plug there for Huntington Police Department.
Okay.
But I've been working with them, just giving them advice, leads, forms, everything we can do to help them. We want to help any charity, and we want it to be good for the runners that they have there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we just help them right out.
I mean, I feel like yours just went so smooth. Like I mean, there was like never a point, even when you were starting, where you were like, this isn't going to work out. Like it seems like from the beginning, it was like it just kind of took off.
Yeah, as far as the operation, yes. We've had a few little snags every now and then that come up along the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that happens. But we had to deal with those. But for the most part, the operation itself, from the day we take them on, we're basically in contact with these agencies. So many overlapping. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we keep our pre-registration. A lot of them stop pre-registration, a couple days before. A lot of them will say, don't register 10 days before, you don't get a shirt. We take it right up to midnight the day before the race, so we can get everything into the computer, of course. And even people that call us say that next morning, and we'll get them in there at the pre-registration price.
Yeah.
We'll save them a computer fee. We'll save them the $5 fee. But anything we can do to save them a few dollars. So we take it right to the level.
So how do people find Osuch Tri-State Race Planners? How do they, if they're interested or they're coming down in this area, how do they find you? How do they reach out?
All right. We found a regular web page itself does not really work for us.
Okay.
We do on Facebook have a page,
Okay.
which we use to expose to the outer limits, let's say up to Lexington, outside, the people that are not in our tri-state.
Yeah.
We'll pick it up that way. But in the tri-state area, on Facebook itself, Osuch Tri-State Race Planners Community Group. That is where most of the action, pictures, activities are. Every day the upcoming race list is up. Every week it's updated. All the activity in the tri-state pretty much centers on that group page of ours. And we have contacts there of about, it's around 2,000. And on emails, we treat them, we do a lot of emails too. Keep people up. We have about almost 33,000 on emails.
Wow.
So we can keep marketing that way too.
Yeah.
Really, like I say, not a lot of room to grow, except there are a few gaps. And Pam, who started all this, every time she says, you're putting on too many, we need a breather. I tell her she's at fault. She started all
She
she
started-
started all this. I remind her of that,
she
and that
started it all.
that stops the argument real quick.
You guys did a really fun engagement shoot too with the runners, didn't you? Not too long
Oh,
ago. Talk about what you did
well, yeah,
with
she
that.
wanted to do that. We did it in Greenup Park, running down the hill there. I was in like a tux-looking thing. She was in a running gown, and had about a good 150, 200 people. Just some of them just came just for the picture, running down the hill in Greenup. That was used as a pre-wedding invite cover. And now since then, though, with her surgery, she's been laid up for like 6 months. So once she gets on her feet again a little bit more, she's almost mobile. We'll set a date to finish this, but that was 2 years ago, actually.
Yeah, I know. You guys have been at it for a long time.
And many times I've been asked that question.
Yeah.
When?
Yeah. So your recommendations then for people starting out in the running that have never done it, or maybe they're scared to get into something, is just basically to do it.
Exactly. Just get out and walk, do it, and just one time put yourself out there. Sign up for a 5K. Use that as a goal. Pick one a month that's away. Sometimes there's a advertised Couch to 5K programs. If you feel more comfortable, try that.
Yeah.
You're with other people that are starting out, and you're all at the same level, and just give it a go. But no matter what your health, if you're able to walk, you're able to participate. Just keep yourself moving, and don't be afraid. You're going to be so encouraged. You do that first race. If you think you're scared because somebody's going to laugh, after that first race, your feeling is going to change completely. It's going to be a whole different ball game. And like I say, if I had discovered this sooner, I'd be running all my whole life. I can't believe the fun and excitement and the positive energy that comes out of it all. It is a good experience and a good time.
What do you like about it personally? Like what is it about
Just feel good.
you just like the feeling,
Just
the
love to
runner's
feel
high.
good. I'm never going to be one that's going to win a lot of awards. I've never been that fast, and even more so now I'm slow. But the thing is, just the feeling of crossing that finish line. I don't care whether it's 3 miles, 6 miles, 13 miles, or 26 miles. They're all good. Whatever. I never thought I'd be running a half marathon, let alone a marathon. I've done.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even in my dreams.
Yeah.
5K wasn't even in a dream, for that matter, when I started.
Yeah.
But now,
Sky's the limit.
it doesn't matter. Even now, I'm taking on half marathons, even with my health issues. So you can do it too.
I love it. I love it. It's such positivity, Alan. I do. I love that. And it is. I mean, it's hard to get started when you've not done any of that, or you don't have the surroundings like everybody around you doing it. But like
that's true.
it's just like if you consistently do something, you will change. Like if you
And
just
the
do
thing
it
is,
a little.
once you start, don't stop.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
easy to, hard to start a habit. Easy to break it. Every day, almost every day, whenever I'm free, I get out and walk. I don't care, a few miles, a lot of miles, even at this part of this comeback. But the thing is, there's a lot of days I don't want to go out there,
Yeah.
or go to the gym for a few workouts a couple days a week too. The, just do it.
Yeah.
By the time you get there, you change your whole feeling has changed anyway. But you're tired or a little sore, or just, I don't feel like doing it today. It's real hard to lose that habit, and the next thing you know, it'll be weeks, then it'll be months.
I completely agree.
The rewards outweigh it.
There's a discipline to doing it, but like you really have to do it even when you don't feel like
yeah.
it. And it does get easier. And honestly, like
It
you
does.
get to a point where if you miss something, you feel bad, you don't like it. You know what I mean? Like
right.
you get to a point, and people don't believe that, but you do when you're in it.
I'm not a
like,
big fan of the sun and of the rain and snow and anything. I'm not a fan of cold weather either. But the thing is, I start seeing the temperatures 60, 70, 80. I'm saying I got to get out there, finish my work day, and no matter what. Even last night, I finished up about 6:30 and got down and forgot a few miles in downtown. I could have easily been tired enough to stay home, but hey, just do it.
Alan, what's your email again if they want to get on the email list? Because you told them the Facebook, but what's the email?
I'll repeat the Facebook because looking at it, you're going to have Osuch Tri-State Race Planners Community Group. And the reason it's not the page, on top it will say, get motivated, stay motivated. A big sign. It's not pictures of runners or anything like that. Get motivated, stay motivated. The email address is Osuch, O-S-U-C-H, Race Planner, singular, at AOL.com.
Okay.
I'm still old school with an AOL.
I love it. I love it. Do you have anything else you want to talk about or add on before we start wrapping up?
I would just say, all of you know people that are ill. All of you know charities. All of you know there's a food need now. Besides running, sponsors are needed. These times, money is tight. Sponsors have held up very well, but there's so much more of a need with inflation and everything else. Support a cause. Your money going to a race supports a cause. All of these races that you go to, by the way, are tax deductible. Your sponsorship dollars are tax deductible. Help charity. Help people. That's another thing. You're helping yourself by running, but you're helping these charities and these causes. Just get out there and be part of the community.
Yeah, I love it. I think I have a perfect quote for ending our podcast on for you, Alan.
Okay, this ought to be a good one.
Here we go. You don't stop running because you get old. You get old because you stop running. And that's Christopher McDougall. I thought of you with that.
That fits.
Yes. So
I'm not about to give up, and I'm 73.
there you go. I love it. I love
73,
it.
and I'm saying you can move if you're 17, 20, 30. Get out there. I don't care what age or I don't care what's on. Nothing. No, I take no excuses.
If that doesn't inspire you to get off the couch, I don't
Get
know
off that
what
couch,
will.
right? Get off that couch.
All right.
Come out and beat Jodelle at a race. That'll be your goal.
It won't be too hard a goal to accomplish. All right. Well, until next time, guys. We'll see you later.
Thank you for listening.